Welcome to Deep Whisper, where darkness takes form through words alone. I'm your host, and tonight we delve into the shadows that lurk just beyond our perception. They say that when you're alone in the forest at night, you're never truly alone. I discovered this truth 3 summers ago while camping in the Blackwood National Forest. The trees there grow impossibly tall, their ancient canopies blocking most of the moonlight, leaving only small puddles of silver illuminating the forest floor. I had set up my tent near a small clearing, far from the designated campsites. I've always preferred solitude, you see. The ranger had warned me about straying from the marked paths, but I dismissed his concerns as the usual cautions given to tourists. That night, I awoke to a sound unlike anything I'd ever heard before. It wasn't loud, quite the opposite. It was a whisper, so faint that at first I thought it was just the wind rustling through the leaves. But as I focused on it, I realized it had a rhythm, a cadence that seemed almost deliberate. "Listen," it seemed to say. "Listen carefully." I unzipped my tent with trembling fingers and peered outside. The forest was absolutely still. Not a single leaf moved. The silence was so complete that it felt physical, pressing against my eardrums. Then I saw it, or rather them, shapes moving between the trees. They were tall and thin, their proportions all wrong for humans. They seemed to bend and sway like reeds in a breeze, though the air remained utterly still. I froze, afraid even to breathe. The whispering grew more intense, though I couldn't make out any words. It was as if dozens of mouths were speaking at once, their voices layering over each other in a hypnotic pattern. One of the figures turned toward my tent. I couldn't see a face, just a darker void where features should have been. The whispering stopped abruptly, replaced by a single voice that seemed to speak directly into my mind. "We've been waiting for someone who would listen." I don't remember falling asleep after that, but I must have. When I woke the next morning, everything seemed normal. Birds sang overhead, and sunlight filtered through the trees. I almost convinced myself it had been a nightmare. But as I packed up my gear, I noticed something strange. All around my campsite, in a perfect circle, the grass and underbrush had been flattened, as if numerous feet had stood there, watching me through the night. I left quickly after that, hiking back to my car without stopping. As I drove away, I glanced in my rear-view mirror and saw something that makes my blood run cold even now. At the edge of the forest, partially hidden by the trees, stood a tall, impossibly thin figure, its arm raised as if in farewell. Since that day, I've never camped alone, but sometimes in the quiet hours between midnight and dawn, when the world is at its most silent, I hear it again, that whisper, calling me back to the forest, telling me they're still waiting. And sometimes I catch glimpses of those same tall figures, standing just at the edge of my vision, watching, always watching, waiting for me to listen again. This has been Deep Whisper. Remember, some stories are meant to be heard only once. Some voices are best left unanswered. Sleep well tonight, if you can.